All right, so let us go back on the record in the People versus Larry Johnson. Mr. Johnson has at this point moved to request that this court allow him to withdraw his plea in this matter. And is there a response from the People?
Your Honor, after speaking to Attorney Robinson, and also I just reviewed the Michigan court rule that Attorney Robinson cited 6.310, that the defendant is allowed to withdraw his plea before sentencing only in the interest of justice, and if withdrawal would substantially prejudice the prosecutor, I'd leave it to the court's discretion. The People have the understanding that the defendant has a job now that in which if he were to take this plea, it would prohibit him from taking the job. So we would just ask for proof of this or some sort of offer by defense counsel.
Let's put some meat on the bones of the request. If it's based upon or premised upon job opportunity or loss of job opportunity, the court wants to know what that job is and when's the expected start date and what are the exact circumstances. Mr. Johnson, just 1 second. Okay. What are the exact circumstances surrounding the reasons for the motion to withdraw the plea entered in this matter, so that I can make a determination as to whether or not the court's going to allow this. So, Attorney Robinson, or would you like Mr. Johnson to respond to that?
He can respond, Judge. We talked about it a dozen times. I know what he's going to say, so it's fine.
All right, Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Basically, I already have the job. I've been here. I've recently got my 90 days last month, but I worked with adult senior living. So, they do extensive background check, make sure there's nothing like that in your background before you even start. So I just got my 90 days, and like I said, I don't want to lose my job. And I just, like I said, I've been going through a lot dealing with this issue. In the last court with my family court, she's already admitted being in a mental home twice. I can't afford to keep losing for not fighting for myself.
Okay.
And so, Judge, if I could just supplement, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Please go ahead.
What the understanding is that initially, and I apologize, there's FBI checks that are done in his job because of the great caretaking that Mr. Johnson is involved in, of the highest care of our seniors. And the FBI can even look at suppressed records, and that will impact. And they don't, and luckily there hasn't been a check since the last court date. Fortunately for him, of course, it's not ongoing. They do periodic checks. I don't know if it's every quarter. I can't, I would just, that's a guess. But the FBI does check. And if there's any assaultive history, my understanding is he will be terminated. And he's finally got a good job. He's been doing construction, which comes and goes. Now he's switched careers and he's in a better place now.
Okay. I thank you for that. That is substantially more information for the court to consider. And the People, again, what is your position, Madam Prosecutor?
One moment, Your Honor. If after hearing the defendant's statement, the People are just a bit concerned, because if this is something that the defendant was aware of at the time when we were in court back a few weeks ago, we're a bit concerned as just why this is coming up now, as opposed to, now attempting to withdraw the plea.
He wasn't aware. He wasn't aware of it. He thought that he did not know that all the checks that are done until he consulted with the human resource person.
All right, Solar.
Your Honor, I'd need a moment.
Sure. Take that moment, Attorney Solari. We'll pass on this matter briefly. And then if she wants to add to that, then we'll be back with you once she's ready. I appreciate you all's patience. Let's get Mr. Bush. I'm gonna step into the courtroom. All right, so let us go on the record. The court does call the people versus Rico Jamal Bush. It's case number 200-458-9101. Matter is before this court for a continued probation review. May I have your appearances, please, starting with the probation department.
Good morning, Your Honor. Derek Farmer on behalf of probation.
Thank you.
Mark Lakin on behalf of Mr. Bush,
Your P number, counsel.
41147.
All right, thank you. And may I have your name, sir? Rico Bush. One more time, a lot louder.
Rico Jamal Bush.
All right, thank you. My apologies on the mispronunciation. Officer Farmer, is there a report from probation in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. Probation just received a report from, looks like counseling service that Mr. Bush is receiving services at Abundance Community Recovery Services. They stated he is progressing well and that his expected discharge date is April 14th, 2024.
April
14th, 2024.
2024. Attorney Lakin?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was there a question?
Well, if you have any response or request to the court at this point based on probation report.
I'm looking to discharge probation if that's possible.
Okay, so this is where we are in this matter. I know the probation order, we're approximately a year and a half into our probationary term. The discharge date in this matter is beyond this court's jurisdiction, at least from that program, Officer Farmer. Is there a recommendation from the probation department as it relates to this case?
Your Honor, given that the time would lapse, we're going to ask that the case be closed out without improvement.
Okay. Any response to that from the people? If you'd like to make an appearance, Madam Prosecutor.
Your Honor, Carolyn Solari, P number 86651 for the people. Your Honor, the people would leave it to the probation department's and the court's discretion.
Okay. Mr. Bush, is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?
Would like to be on probation and be free.
You gotta speak up.
I done everything I was supposed to do, you know, in order, and that family order. So I would like to be on probation if possible.
All right, so Officer Farmer, could you give the court a complete rundown of what has or has not been completed as it relates to this probation order?
Okay, 1 second. So the defendant was originally ordered. There's so many notes in here. Sorry about that. Okay, he was originally ordered to complete the 26 weeks batters program, no contact with the complainant, no handgun, shall not use or possess any illegal substance, attend outpatient, inpatient treatment, submit to drug urinalysis, shall not consume any alcohol. I believe our problem was that the classes wasn't getting completed. And once he finally did enroll, like I said, which was, I believe, at the last.
Hey, Doug, I got about 3 more minutes.
January the 27th, at our last review, then I believe things start rolling. And I believe it was something with the Detroit Recovery Project where they wouldn't give him a substance abuse eval because they say he stated he didn't have a substance problem. So we had to find another place that would give him the services that the court had ordered. And I believe that's how he ended up at Abundance. But to this date, we don't have proof of the outpatient or the classes. We just have proof that he is attending them.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then the court's not inclined to discharge Mr. Bush on today. The court does want Mr. Bush to complete, something as it relates to the probation in this case. So we'll set another review date. That'll be in October. We'll make it on the 27th of October. That'll be at 10 a.m. and we'll see where Mr. Bush is there as it relates to his progress in what he's currently enrolled in, and if there are any other things that we need to take up then. But there's not a chance that this court's going to discharge Mr. Bush without having at least something completed on this particular probation. You have something, sir?
I do have completion of the redeeming program.
Speak up, sir.
I do have completion of the redeeming program.
Okay, well, has that been provided to Officer Farmer?
I think she said she sent him a copy, but I have an email.
All right, so this is what we'll do. Once we conclude on today, I'm going to keep the October 27th date. Officer Farmer, can Mr. Bush come down and show you whatever he has on today?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to conclude here. We'll keep that October date. If there's some stuff that you have for Officer Farmer, then you show it to him. And if he's satisfied with that, then maybe the court will close the case out. But you're not going to just not complete stuff and the court will discharge you. Okay, sir?
But I have my completion.
Again, that's why you're going to show it to Officer Farmer on today, sir. So you want me to look in your phone, sir? Is that what you want me to do?
No, but she said she sent him a copy, so he should have a copy. She said she emailed.
And what are you going to do today? You're going to go down there and talk to him about it, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you on the 27th, if not sooner, sir. You have a good day and be well. October 27th. Thank you.
At what time?
That's 10 a.m. Thanks, Attorney Lake. Attorney Solari, are you ready on, we'll go back on the record on Marshall?
On Johnson or Marshall?
I'm sorry, not Marshall, Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor, the people are ready.
All right, so let us go back on the record in the People versus Larry Johnson. Madam Prosecutor, do you have anything further for the record as it relates to defendant's request to withdraw his no contest plea in this particular matter?
Your Honor, the people, after reviewing the PSI again, do not see any indication of this job. We only see an employer by the name of Clean Slate Property Management, start date 2013.
So you said that to say?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, to say that there is no indication that there is a job in which gives a good faith basis to the people to not object to him withdrawing the plea.
So the people are now objecting.
Yes.
Okay. Any last words on that, Attorney Robinson?
Yes, as I stated, my client does have a property cleanup construction business. I did speak to that earlier. My client has a regular, he was working for himself with his own business. Again, there's ups and downs with self-employment. You may be paid 1 week, you may go 3 weeks with no jobs. Again, he recently switched gears and is working in a senior care facility. He holds that close to his chest because he does not want the complaining witness to know where he works. It is his belief that if she finds out where he works, that she will call constantly and do everything within her power to get him terminated, including coming up to the job, making false allegations, and calling there. This is a job where he is on the management track. He can provide proof. He can provide proof immediately, but he does work in a senior care facility. I'm purposefully not disclosing the name of the place.
All right, 1 second, then let's do this. One moment, Mr. Johnson. All right, so let's go back on the record. Madam Prosecutor, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. The people would just like to again reiterate their objection to defendant's attempt to withdraw the plea. Defendant had time to voice his concerns to the probation department or disclose at least this job to the probation department. He did not. And when we were speaking earlier, it feels as though now the complainant is on trial and we are litigating facts, which I find to be not appropriate at the time of sentencing.
Okay, so the court has heard from the defendant as well as the people in place of their motion. The motion is to withdraw or to vacate the no contest plea in this matter, which is governed by NCR 6.310B. The standard for this court to grant said motion is that one, it's in the interest of justice, and that it may not be withdrawn without without it showing that there's no substantial prejudice to the prosecution to allow the withdrawal of the plea. So I think as it relates to in the interest of justice, there's been a record at least made as it relates to unintended consequences of Mr. Johnson's employment, specifically the loss of said employment in a situation in which he has just recently been employed for 90 days, and there's an FBI check that may result in his termination in the event that a conviction, even a non-public conviction, is disclosed or revealed. As it relates to the second piece, second piece for substantial prejudice, the people, at least on this record, have not demonstrated a substantial prejudice to disallow the withdrawal of the plea. So the court is going to grant the defendant's motion at this time. The court is going to allow the withdrawal of the no contest plea in this matter. And what we will do is set a further final pretrial date in this case. That will be on the, let's say the 9th of June. And that'll be at 9:45. And at that time, we'll decide how we're proceeding as it relates to a trial, whether that be a bench trial, a trial by jury, and so forth and so on. Anything further from the people?
No, Your Honor.
Attorney Robinson.
May we appear by Zoom for the pretrial, Your Honor?
That is perfectly fine.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day and be well. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Marshall.
The people are ready, Your Honor.
Gregory, do you want up there in person or I can do a virtual hearing? So final pretrial.
Mr. Marshall, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
A little bit. Can you hear me any better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So the court calls the people versus Daryl Marshall's case number 210-451-6601. Matter is set for a probation review appearances, please, starting with the people.
Carolyn Solari, P number 86651 for the people.
Thank you.
Good morning, Angela Roberts appearing on behalf of Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall, please state your name for the record.
Daryl Marshall.
All right, thank you. And on behalf of probation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Derek Farmer on behalf of probation.
All right, thank you. And is there a report from probation as it relates to this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was placed on probation back in February. We had our first meeting in March. We went over terms and conditions. He was signed up for ATS drug testing. and giving a referral for care for his mental health eval. He had a balance of $1,210 that was due to the court. I last synced the defendant April the 19th. At that time, he still had a balance of $1,210. He was given another referral for his mental health eval. I did get a report from ATS that in March, his test was positive for alcohol and he failed to report in April.
Okay. Attorney Roberts.
Your Honor, I wasn't aware of the issues with the test, but I did speak with Mr. Marshall, who indicated that he did the mental health evaluation, and I was going to be asking for a review date in December for him to see if he can have all his fines and costs for this case and his tickets paid off by then. If there's an issue with testing, I'm asking that we continue so that Mr. Marshall can continue to test, and hopefully there's no further issues at this time.
Attorney Solari, anything?
Honor, the people were just made aware that this is from the complainant to AP Gregory Tudge, that the defendant had been visiting complainant's friends and family at random places, including places of work. We are in the process of retrieving a police report from Inkster PD and would ask for an adjournment, a brief adjournment, as for like a week or two, if that's amenable to Attorney Roberts and to this honorable court, just to follow up on that police report and get to the bottom of it.
Okay. Officer Farmer, is there a recommendation from the probation department as it relates to this matter?
Your Honor, we're not opposed to adjourning this matter over so that the prosecutor may get the evidence that she needed. I was aware of the allegation and I did inform the complaining witness of the steps that needed to be taken before we can act on the matter.
Okay. So let's say June 9th, that's 2 weeks from today. June 9th, 10 a.m. Let's make it in person.
Okay.
That's the same day I'm supposed to report.
That's perfect.
And I can't,
Be here at the courthouse.
my work schedule, I don't get off work until I work. Let me see. Well, I guess I had to call up because I don't get off work until 1:30.
Well, 10 o'clock is the time. If that becomes a further issue, you need to notify your attorney and or your probation officer, okay?
All right.
Anything else from anyone?
No, Your Honor.
Can I
No,
say
Your Honor.
something?
Oh,
I'm sorry, you have a question, sir?
No, I was just wanting to make a statement as far as, I don't know, as far as any allegations or anything on my, with anything that's going on.
I think it's in your best interest as it relates to those allegations, not to say anything at this point.
All right.
You can run whatever you need to say regarding that by your attorney. Because you know, if I'm the one that's ultimately going to make a decision, I don't think that it's appropriate that I hear it at this time. Okay.
All
right. So the 9th is the date. Anything else from anyone?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Marshall, I'm going to send you a breakout room link in case you want to talk to your attorney on today about that. Certainly, you can have this stuff offline. So you have something else, Robert?
I was just going to ask if we can have that prior to the actual hearing so that we can adequately prepare, because what I'm hearing is not any actual allegations of contact with the complainant.
I'm sorry, have what prior to the hearing? You mean the information?
The police report that Madam Prosecutor is referring to.
Certainly. I think that if Madam Prosecutor is tracking down a police report, that should certainly be provided to the probation department as well as to Mr. Marshall's representation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Is there anyone in the hallway?
Yeah, we have Malik Locking in the hallway as well as Motion Thompson.
Okay. Any probation?
I think that might be it for me, Your Honor.
I think it is as well.
Okay, you guys have a happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
League also has a key.
All right, Mr. Marshall, have a good day and be well. We'll see you in 2 weeks, if not
All right,
sooner.
thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Your Honor, we have a motion, Townsend and Carl Thomas in the hallway.
Okay, we need probation for both of those. And so has Mr. Lofton been arraigned, Attorney Roberts?
I don't think, I'm not sure yet. I'll follow up on that now.
Well, could you join us here in the courtroom for a moment?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so let us go on the record. The court calls the people versus the motion Townsend. This is 210-449-8801. Matters here for a probation review. Appearances, please, starting with the probation department.
Good morning, Your Honor. Margaret McCall on behalf of the probation department.
Thank you.
Good morning, Amber Roberts, appearing on behalf of Ms. Townsend. Ms. Townsend, can you state your name, please?
Emotion Thompson.
Thank you.
All right, and Officer McCall, is there a report for Ms. Townsend that you'd like to give?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Townsend was placed on probation on December 20th, 2022 for 1 year. She was ordered to pay $655 in assessed fines and costs. No contact with the complainant complete 12 days of community service, shall not use or possess or consume any illegal substance, including alcohol, attend outpatient treatment or inpatient treatment as positive screen, submit to drug urinalysis, no handguns or firearms, and continue with mental health treatment. And she was placed on a delayed sentence. Excuse me. And her last review hearing, Your Honor, was March 28, 2023. And on that day, she was instructed to continue testing. She was currently with the prior probation officer, Brimage, and she had failed to screen for the past 2 months. And she had failed to update her mental health treatment. And the 36th district court, she was going to be placed in the mental health treatment program, and Wayne County Jail was held in advance at that time. And she was given her opportunity to screen here due to the fact that she didn't have the money to pay the full amount with the outside agency. So at this time, she's currently enrolled in mental health development centers under the supervision of Dr. D. She has provided verification for medications, and on April 10th, 2023, she was referred for a urine screen with this court, and she tested positive for alcohol. She tested May 5th, and she was positive for marijuana. However, Ms. Townsend does have a medical marijuana card, which was issued on November 21st, 2021, with the expiration date of November 21st, 2023. She did test today, and her screens were negative for all substances, but she did test positive for marijuana. She has a traffic balance of 1461. She did pay $60 today to our assessed fines and costs. And I believe Ms. Townsend, we had long conversations, and I think Ms. Townsend is going to comply with these terms and conditions of probation.
All right, thank you.
And one more thing, in regards to the 12 days, she hasn't completed those 12 days of community service.
Okay. Thank you. Attorney Robert?
Your Honor, if I can just ask what Ms. McCall's recommendation is going to be, because I would ask that we continue her on her probation at this time.
That's your recommendation, officer?
Yes, Your Honor, the probation department is recommending that she continues to screen with this court. Be responsible to pay for those screens, which were $10 per test, complete the 12 days of community service, continue with her mental health treatment, and another review date, possibly, Your Honor, in 3 months, to see where Ms. Townsend is.
Okay. Ms. Townsend, this is your case. Is there anything you'd like to say? You gotta speak up though, because Madam Court Reporter is not here, and I want to make sure she hears you, okay?
Okay, well, I got
Actually use the microphone for me. That may be a little better for us.
I'm on the medication, well, they just switched my medication, but I've been on medication, Seroquel, almost the highest dose that they can give me, which is fully sedates me, really for most of the day, majority of the day. Every day, really. So doing the community service, it's hard for me to get out of bed. It's hard for me to get up and feed myself most of the time. And my doctor was supposed to give my medical needs form for that, but unfortunately, he wasn't in the office when I was coming to pick up my paperwork.
Okay. That's it?
Your Honor?
Yes.
I think mental health treatment is very important. I think all the terms that you impose are important, but if that is something that unfortunately Ms. Thompson is dealing with as a result of staying on top of her mental health treatment, do you think upon adequate documentation to probation that we may consider excusing those community service hours?
If there's some documentation that can be provided, that's fine. What I look to with each and every probation case is, frankly, good faith, honest effort to complete the terms and conditions of probation that are ordered. I know people don't have unlimited funds. I know people don't have unlimited time. So that goes towards any fines and costs, and that goes towards community service. But in order for
a defendant, and specifically Ms. Townsend in this case, to reap what I do believe is a benefit of a dismissal under a delayed sentence, then the court's going to have through probation or otherwise, some, information or documentation as it relates to the effort that has been provided. And frankly, I rely on probation, who interacts with Ms. Townsend or any other defendant, to tell me, what their recommendation is based upon their experience and knowledge of an interaction with Ms. Townsend. So if there's some other information that can be provided to probation, I hope that is provided. But I don't think that this is a situation in which the court ever intends, to set somebody up to do things that they're not going to be able to do, and then it's going to lock them up on the back end of it. That's not how I believe probation should work, and that's not how I believe that, I in this seat, operate as far as the judge that's overseeing folks that are on probation, and in this case, Ms. Townsend specifically. So the court's goal is that Ms. Townsend, through whatever means, through the probation or means that she's been ordered to do otherwise or has chosen to do otherwise, gets any and all help that she may need, so that she doesn't find herself, one, back in court on anything, and two, so that she can be, a contributing member to society. And so that's what I want more than anything else, and that's more important than community service hours or amounts paid, is that Ms. Townsend can go on and live a happy and healthy and successful life. So I'm relying on Ms. Townsend to provide any and all documentation about that, and I'm relying on probation through their interactions with her to help me out and to make me comfortable in saying that Ms. Townsend is on her way to doing that, or she is doing it. So what we'll do is we'll set a new review date. I want to put it out a little further than 3 months. Just on for the sake of my particular schedule. And let's say we come back towards the end of October, let's say October the 27th. And we'll see where we are at that day in time. Anything further from probation?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Attorney Roberts?
No, at this time, Your Honor, thank you.
Townsend, you have anything? Okay. All right. You have a good day and be well. Thank you. Officer. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have Officer Farmer back for Thomas, but I think that may be our last matter for this morning. Unless you all have something else.
I have, well, with Mr. Laurie, we had a co-defendant on the case yesterday from Summer Lewis. And I believe that Mr. Laurie has no objection to the co-defendant of Bonita Lewis's matter being dismissed.
Is that accurate, Madam Prosecutor?
Yes, that is accurate, Your Honor.
And Ms. Townsend back in person, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, but what day did I give Blake's? Sorry. Blake.
6:16 and 9:45 in person.
So that other case is, what was the thing? Left it up here.
Yeah, it was two on there.
I think I may have given it back.
I need to address this children too, Your Honor. Please, it's called Cole's case.
What was it? Oh, it's right
Right up
here.
here.
It's in front. All right, so let us go on the record. Bless you.
Thank you.
The court calls the People versus Benita Lewis. Case number 220-443-1002. The People versus Benita Renee Lewis. Appearances, please, starting with the people.
Carolyn Solari, P number 86651 for the People.
Thank you.
Your record, Bianca Roberts, appearing on behalf of Ms. Lewis. I'd ask you to waive her presence as she's not been arranged or scheduled.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, how are the people seeking to proceed in this case?
Your Honor, the People are seeking to dismiss charges against the defendant Benita Lewis in the interests of justice.
Attorney Roberts?
No objection, Your Honor. Respectfully ask you to also sign an order permission state police to destroy any arrest record, biometric data, DNA if applicable, and remove the lead entry.
Objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court will sign that order once it's provided. Matter is dismissed. Dismissal is without prejudice in this case. Thank you. Can we get Mr. Thomas? We have,
Your Honor, am I all set?
you are.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Have a good Memorial Day weekend.
Good.
Mr. Thomas,
All right, so the court calls the People versus Carl Thomas. Is case number 220-456-133. Strike that. 220-456-1301. Matters before the court today for a probation review. Appearances, please, starting with probation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Derek Farmer, on behalf of probation.
Thank you.
good morning. Amber Roberts, appearing on behalf of Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, can you state your name, please?
Carl Thomas.
All right, thank you. And is there a report from probation as it relates to Mr. Thomas? Court noting that this is the initial probation review.
Yes, Your Honor, this is the initial probation review. The defendant has been given all of his referrals. He has started his community service, which he stated is almost completed. He is receiving mental health treatment. However, he has not just started his DV classes yet, but he is currently in mental health treatment for another issue. At this time, we actually is satisfied with his level of compliance thus far. We're just asking that probation be continued so that he may come into full compliance.
All right, thank you. Attorney Roberts?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Then, in light of that report, what we'll do is continue this matter to Mr. Thomas's discharge date. Is it the 15th or the 18th of March, Officer Brown?
What did you say, Your Honor? I'm sorry, you cut out.
When do you have Mr. Thomas's discharge date? I note that the 17th of March in 2024 is a weekend. So I'm wondering, is it the 15th or the 18th? What do we put down?
For Mr. Thomas, I have the 14th of March.
Even earlier. So March 14th then, 2024 for our discharge date. And that'll be your next court date, sir. We'll see you then, if not sooner, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you. You have a good day and be well.
God bless you too, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So go ahead down to Officer Farmer, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, Mr. Roberts had indicated he was gonna be on his way. Is there any way I'm able to get in contact with him again that he could walk in on Monday? I mean Tuesday? Thank you.
Walking on Monday. I won't be here. It'll be Thursday. I think that's the day. That's the
Okay.
Randy Cage is Thursday. Ivory Coles are Cage as well. Yes, ma'am.
Discharge date March 11th.
March the 11th.
Yeah.
Mr. Thomas,
Oh, well, March 11th, then I'm sorry.
for Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
10.
I got March 17th on the order. Well, since it's on 10th, I guess that's when it's signed. You're right. March 11th. All right, well, thanks, Officer Farmer. That is it now. You have a good Memorial Day weekend.
You too, Your Honor.
Thank you.
you have Ms. Cole back on, Your Honor?
We can reach out.
Thank you.
Attorney Cole, she